Good afternoon. Thanks, John. Speaking of areas where we're continuously trying to improve, it's a great lead-in. Just want to take a few minutes of your time here at the end of the day. Thank you for your patience sticking with us. I hope you've been enjoying the meeting. I'm Hollis Kara. I'm the Director of Communications, and I'd like the next slide, please. All right. I want to center this conversation on the point that everything that we do as ARIN in general, but in communications in particular, has to pertain to our mission statement. And particularly when it comes to training and outreach, it comes to those last 6 words of that mission. Next slide. All right, so training highlights. Some of you may remember that in spring of last year, which seems a million years ago at this point, we first introduced our training program coordinator, Beverly Hicks, to the community when we brought her to our meeting in Barbados. Yes, we were in Barbados. I think that's right. And what she did at that point was some data gathering to find out kind of what the community was interested most in seeing ARIN provide training on. We are a community-led organization, so we wanted to kind of let that be the driving force behind our first steps. As a result, we've moved forward as a team in a lot of ways, which I'm going to briefly go over with you now. And I encourage everyone to either take advantage of these opportunities personally or refer folks that you think might benefit from them to utilize them. We are now offering webinars, webinars that are not being, if they've been presented live, a lot of times we will make them available on demand afterward, so you can watch those and digest them at your convenience. We also have been producing many how-to videos for ARIN Online, and we're going to continue to do that as our services continue to develop and mature. We've been going through a lot of improvements to our technical services, and now that the UI is kind of settled out and those things are live and in use, we'll be creating more how-tos to help customers utilize them. And we also have a variety of materials that are available for you to use for your own education or to share with others to help inform them about the work at ARIN. Have the next slide, please. All right, so our virtual training. This has been pretty exciting. We've been able to stand up a number of live webinars over the last year, and we've had really great results. And I wanted to share a few numbers with you because I think that's helpful to kind of get a sense of where we're going. One of the first things the community asked for was training on IPv6 address planning. We ran that seminar 6 times, and then now it is available online and as on demand, and that attendee number includes folks that have registered and participated live, watched it as an on-demand, or who elected to register for the event and then watch the video when it was sent to them after the session, because yes, we can tell when you do that. So we've had almost 460 people complete that training. We ran our leadership development program, and that one is a very targeted outreach that is designed to train folks that are interested in running for the board or the advisory council or the NRO number council about what the responsibilities with those roles are. So it's a smaller program. We ran 2 live sessions over the summer or late spring, and we had 38 attendees participate in that, which was great. And most recently, as you heard referenced in the trivia game earlier, we conducted our Getting to Know IRR online seminar, which was wonderful. It had a great response, and it just shows you how wonderful the uptake on that has been. And we had 193 folks that have participated in that training thus far. Have the next slide, please. As I mentioned, after we run a session live, either at the conclusion of a series of presentations, we'll pick the best one, or if it's a one-time presentation, we will take the recording from that and we will post it on our website. The URL is found on the slide deck of training webinars, and then that's available to you to use at your leisure. And we keep track of the views, so that's good to know how those are being viewed. But we have one on policy development, and again, the 3 that I mentioned with the previous slide. And move to the next slide, please. All right. One of the things that we had to scramble to do last year was to update all of our training library, Basically, one of the side effects of moving to the new website, which hopefully everyone is enjoying, was that the UI changed, which meant that we needed to go through and recreate because it isn't very helpful to have a help that doesn't look like what you're seeing on your screen. So we recreated all of our basic helps, and those are available to anyone who needs them for setting up accounts and putting in requests. And we're going to be starting, now that things have stabilized with the UI and some of our other areas like RPKI and now with IRR, we'll be starting to create those as well and building out that library. If there are topics that you would like to see us build a self-help for to create a guide, please let us know. We always love to hear from you. The next slide. All right, outreach. Outreach has been crazy this year. So let's take a little look at what we had planned and what ended up happening and where we're going. Can I have the next slide? All right, we had a great plan coming into 2020. We had everything mapped out, tons of appearances, tons of engagement. We were super excited to get in a room and talk to you. And then things got weird. We were off to a rip-roaring start in January and February. We had held our first two ARIN on the Road events in Memphis and San Antonio, and we had a wonderful time getting to know our community there. We even did a few outreach events that were by invitation to do row-a-thon training with individual organizations, which was wonderful. Helped those folks get bootstrapped into RPKI. And we'd had help desks at a number of events. And then we got to March. Next slide, please. And we hit the pause button, as did everyone. We had to kind of slow our roll, work on undoing plans, figuring out alternatives, and we decided to take advantage of it as an opportunity to really stop and think about what we were doing well, where we could improve, and what opportunities were available to us in a virtual environment that maybe we hadn't taken advantage of before. And that's kind of spun out into 3 key areas which we're really excited about and that we are continuing to gain momentum on. First off, was our initiative to develop stronger relationships with our industry partners. And what that means is that a lot of these organizations where we have similar communities, we've made a point of going to their events in the past and exhibiting, things like that. All that went away. So what we did is we've started to do create opportunities with those organizations to take tailored information to their membership through their channels. And that's been great, and we're looking forward to continuing to build on that. One of the things that we were really sorry to have to put the pause on were our ARIN on the Road and ARIN Lunch by the Numbers, because they're a great way for us to get in touch with people who are part of the ARIN community, but not necessarily involved and invested in coming to the meetings and trying to encourage them. So what that's kind of turning into is virtual outreach. And for right now, we're going to start this up focusing on our new customers. And we're planning to roll this out in November. So if you're new in this last year, you'll be hearing about it. Everybody will be hearing about it, but it's going to be by invitation to new folks. And this is basically that onboarding, bootstrapping, getting them familiar with all the things that they can do to get value out of their relationship with ARIN. So those are going to be great. And then the last thing was to have a functionality to allow us to have virtual help desks. What we're seeing more and more is that organizations are adapting to the digital environment, and they're trying to make their events available virtually. And that includes trade show kind of expo things. And the question became, how can we continue to provide the great service that we provide with our RSD help desk in that environment? And that's something that we've figured out, and now we're just waiting for the opportunity to utilize it. Next slide, please. So this year's been all about rising to the challenge, and I just want to give a shout out to the team real quick. I couldn't be prouder of all the hard work everybody's done figuring out how to pivot and adapt and make things work and come up with new ways for us to show and continue to live into our commitment to the community at ARIN. We're here for you, and we're here to work with you. And I'd like to wrap it up with an ask, if I can have the last slide. We're really, our real sole goal is to help you and all of our customers to optimize their relationship with ARIN, to get the most value out of that experience, whether it's attending an event or using our online services. And part of doing that is hearing from you. So please, 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 training@arin.net is the email. Beverly and I both get all of the things that come to that address, and we want to hear from you. If there are topics that you think we should be addressing, if there are audiences you think would benefit from hearing from us, any of it. So I want to thank you again for being part of the community, and I hope that we can continue to partner together to continue to grow ARIN's strength. And if there are any questions.
Any questions for Hollis? Okay, Hollis, thank you very much.
Wonderful, thank you.